Hi, everyone. Welcome to the latest edition of the Power Within podcast, the podcast in which I have on inspiring people with inspiring stories. And on this week's episode, I have a great guest. His name is Tom Nicoli. Tom is an internationally published author, speaker, and holds certifications as a personal development coach, NLP practitioner, hypnosis instructor, and professional consultant. Tom's clients typically seek relief from personal issues, including but not limited to behavioral changes, weight loss, motivation, chronic emotional and physical disorders. So Tom, it's great to have you on the show. How are you, my friend?
I'm great, Trevor. Thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to be able to share whatever I can with people that hopefully will help them a little bit.
You're very welcome. Now, I've gone through a couple of lines of your bio from your website there. Would you like to elaborate and tell us a little bit about your journey?
Well, since the internet, it's become easier for me to say to people, just Google my name. Just go ahead and look around and do the research. But what I will share is that I got certified in 1999. And as a performer my whole life musically, I thought that stage hypnosis stuff looks pretty cool. But when I talked with this gentleman and he brought up the word hypnotherapy, it was almost like a cartoon, like a light bulb went off over my head. And at the time, I was a full mouth reconstruction dental technician. And I said, I'm going to do that. And people like, what? Yeah. What's a hypnotherapist? Like, you already have a career. Like, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. And now it's been 24 years and I've had clients in over 50 countries and blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on and on. I've been very blessed in my career. But, excuse me, the good part was I didn't follow my own conscious plan. I allowed myself to be guided by the divine plan. And I ended up where I was supposed to be. Like I was doing 12 days in London. I used to teach speak a lot in England. And I was doing a 12-day bit there. And somebody had said, whether you call this NLP, EFT, TFT, or EIEIO, it's all under the umbrella of what hypnosis is. So basically, no matter what techniques we're all using, havening, tapping, I mean, anything. Think of all the things we all use as practitioners. It's all a hypnotic-based model. And the thing that really surprises me a lot, I coach hypnotists, because I'm being considerate to my colleagues, I offer them incredible incentives. And when I coach them, I'm shocked at what people are taught and what they don't know. There are so many hypnotists that don't even know what hypnosis really is. They think hypnosis is only happening the moment the person's reclined and they start an induction, instead of realizing it's a constant thing in life. We could call it influence, persuasion, power suggestion. The placebo effect when the doctor says, drink this water, and you think it's a potion of some sort and you heal or whatever. Yeah. So hypnosis is a constant natural thing. We're just using different processes and techniques and methods under that umbrella. That's really all it is. So I help people with just about any issue at all, as long as it's under the scope of my practice and training, right? And that's another big piece. Like, people will dabble in areas they really shouldn't be. Do the research about something first before you work with somebody with it, Yeah. But the other part too is that it's really not what the person brings to the table. I tell people all the time, what are you looking for a script for this issue for? The issue isn't the issue. The presenting problem, the what, is not the problem. It's why. Like, why do you eat like that? Or why do you not do this? Or why do you keep doing that? And people are like, I don't get it either. Well, there's the conflict and there's the rub, right? And that's why this process is the most important thing a person will eventually, hopefully, find and realize, is the most effective and expedient, natural, so it's safe, with nothing but positive side effects, way to improve the self, right? Not everyone's going to find us. Not everyone's going to want to. But those who do, this is it. You know, on my business card, it used to say, why my clients say, I wish I did this sooner.
Sure.
So it doesn't matter what somebody presents. I don't give a crap what it is. It's all about why they're doing that. It serves some purpose. So the subconscious created a strategy. And it may have helped in some area, but it could be causing 30 other issues, 30 problems. So we're just looking for what is it that the mind believes, the subconscious believes that this is serving, and we can find a healthier alternative. But anyway, I could talk for days and days and days on this stuff.
Sure. Just on, you've mentioned scripts there. I know from my own the work that I do here in Waterford city here in Ireland, I've stopped using scripts a good while back, because when I trained, it was very much back then in 2010, it was very much script based, and for a while you end up kind of using the scripts as more of a reference, but it was kind of like that crux to, you know, you don't want to let go of, just in case you get brain fog, or, you know, it's something to kind of fall back on. But eventually, like through the growth of I was experiencing on my own journey, I decided to just let go of the scripts and work with each client that comes in front of me on their own merits, because everyone, obviously, we know, is different, and will have different likes and dislikes, and everyone's imaginary powerful place is going to be different. And it's sometimes it's best, the less you say, the better, almost. I don't know if you've come across the content-free hypnosis work that the people like Carl Smith are doing. Is fantastic stuff.
Well, see, the thing is, it's unfair for seasoned people to kind of condescend to beginners who use scripts. No one started without them. Nobody knew what the hell to say when they first got certified, did their first client. So it's the way we need to begin, like a movie, a TV show. It's all scripted until they learn it, right? But yeah, the client writes the script. And what you had just said in passing there, one of the most important things that hypnotists don't understand is space, quietness. Let the process take place. You know, there have been times when I've sat with people, and it's not often, because I want somebody who's seriously qualified if I'm going to sit in their chair, right? Though every hypnotist and coach needs a hypnotist and coach, a big mistake hypnotists and coaches make. And I learned that the hard way. But there was a time I was sitting in a woman who was a student of mine. Well, she was already doing Dolores Cannon work, right? And then she got certified. So she wanted to gift me one of her 3-hour sessions. I had to stop her continuously to tell her to slow down and let me process what was going on. And this is why every hypnotist should be a client, so they know what the client's experiencing. You give space and time, even when you just, you know, doing an intake with somebody, or, you know, they came back for whatever session now, 3rd, 4th, 20th, whatever. If you just pause and give space, they'll fill the space. You know, oh, and you know what else? And you go, oh, okay. So saying nothing sometimes is more important than saying anything you could think of. Absolutely. There should be a lot less quiet time. I mean, a lot more quiet time during session work sometimes.
And that's very much of the whole mindset and the strategy of letting the client do the work, isn't it? Rather than pushing your own kind of agendas and like strategies on them, like to let them do the work themselves. Huge
mistake. Every person is the car and the driver. And when they, I mean, those of us who have done enough work, and when I say enough work, after I was on national TV in America back in 2003 to 2004, 3 big appearances over 10 months, I was doing 105 sessions a week, 15 1-hour sessions a day, 7 days a week. So when people say,
Wow.
I do 30 sessions a week, I'm like, well, that's good. Good for you. I mean, I don't work like that anymore, but I've had experience, let's say, right? And the thing is, we're not there for us. We're there for them. So you work in their belief system. You work within their parameters and guidelines of belief. You never put your stuff on them. And always look for the why, never work on the what. They already know what they're doing and what they aren't doing. You just got to look at why. Why isn't that, coming to fruition? Yeah, it's something, man. People overwork this stuff. So they're the car, they're the driver, right? And they will say, anyone ever thank you for saving their life? And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Like a doctor doesn't heal you. It just plays a role in the process of your healing. I say, you're the car, you're the driver, you were lost. You didn't know how to get to where you needed to get, which is inside yourself, internally. I'm the GPS. But the better the GPS, the easier you get where you're going.
That's right. We facilitate a process that when our clients come with the right mindset and engage with and commit to and take self-responsibility for their own outcome and their own success, then that's when the magic happens, isn't it?
Yeah. When they say, well, can you fix me? Like, no.
Yeah.
I can help you fix yourself.
Yeah. It's that old school mindset that people have about hypnosis that, come to a hypnotist for a quick fix and, it's going to hypnotize me, give me some suggestions to bark like a dog and cluck like a chicken, and then I'm going to leave and I'm going to do what he tells me. That when I started out doing hypnosis, that was kind of the philosophy and the mindset.
I know.
But now, nearly 15 years later, things have evolved and you learn as you go along through experience. And I'm sure, like, that as well. I mean, how long are you doing this work?
I got certified in 1999. I've been doing it for 24 years.
24 years. 24 years. And Tom, what do you enjoy most? What do you get most out of it? I know you're passionate for the work that you do.
Well, seeing the positive results, seeing people achieve something they weren't able to achieve any other way. Yeah, I mean, that's the fulfillment, isn't it? The reward and all that. I mean, it's fantastic that we work in, it's kind of like a dictated monetary value because of the market itself. And that's great, but if you don't do good work, you're not going to make any money. So focus on doing really good work. And that good work is just why you should be getting up and talking to people. So when I see the results, man, it's amazing. I'm never shocked when I'm never surprised, but I'm always amazed.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, man, it's amazing how this works. This is just something else.
Yeah. And do you feel people's perception of the work that we do has evolved, has changed over the last 24 years since you started?
It's continuously increasing. There's more exposure now because of technology, right? Because of the internet. So it would have been a real slow grind, like acupuncturists had to go through if we didn't have the internet. But because of so much exposure and everything changing so quickly, more people become aware. They become aware of the truths. Some people still, they're just going to disbelieve, and that's fine, whatever. I used to be defensive about it until I learned, who cares? If they want to think like that, fine, whatever. When people say, man, you're crazy, when I talk metaphysically and things like that, I go, I know, and you're the one getting up tomorrow at 5 o'clock to go to a shitty job. I don't have a job. I walk down the hallway of my estate and I sit in front of a computer, and I'm making probably in a day what you're making in 2 weeks, but I'm the crazy one. So I just say, good luck to you. I'm not here to change your mindset at all unless you want it to be changed. And by the way, when I say that, I grew up not eating, regularly and being envious and jealous of people who had anything. I come from that side of the tracks, you know.
Right.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. I mean, when I started out doing hypnosis, even when I was on a night out with my friends, I'd always, looking back, I'd always be trying to convince them
Yeah,
of the merits of what I was doing.
yeah,
And after a while, I just said, sod it, you know, let them believe what they want to believe. I mean, ultimately, if somebody's interested, they'll ask me, right? Other than that, you
right,
know, let's continue on the night out and just have some fun. No big deal. But
exactly.
because if someone sometimes has a belief about what hypnosis is and they've bought into the misconceptions, then it can be a challenge to, you know, to change that perception.
Well, it's
But
ridiculous to try. Just leave it be.
yeah,
You know. Well, one of my brothers, I'm the
absolutely.
oldest of four siblings, and one of them said, he goes, yeah, I just can't buy into it. I said, what you're saying is you don't believe it. I said, but what I'm telling you is this, it's as real as gravity. And though you don't believe in it, I wouldn't walk off the roof. I said, so whether you believe in something or not, if it is legitimate, if it's real, it's going to be working, whether you understand it or believe in it or not. And that's going on in the world all the time. People don't believe in
Exactly.
certain things that are going on right in front of their face. But for whatever reason or reasons, they just can't open up to it and accept it. So they live in denial. That's all.
Sure, sure. Tom, one of the questions I would love to ask you is regarding your book. You know, folks,
Mm.
Tom is an author of a great book, the title of which is Thinking Tin, The Truth About Weight Loss.
Uh-huh.
Would you like to tell us and our listeners a little bit about how you came to author that book and the story
Yeah.
behind it?
The first book I wrote was A Better You by Hypnosis. My practice is A Better You Hypnosis Incorporated. It was A Better You by Hypnosis, a practical guide to hypnosis and its benefits. I think that was the tagline. And it was self-published because I had read, this is way
Yeah.
back, you're not considered an expert until you have a book. Okay. So then after the national TV bit, and it got insane, I knew I probably should write a book about, the national TV stuff was a 10-month project on a TV show called Dateline NBC. And they had 6 people wanting to lose weight to go to their 25th high school reunion. They had 6 different approaches and they had 3 episodes over the 10 months. They gave me a pastry chef. Thank you. But percentage-wise, he did better than anyone. That's why my career went through the roof. So I wrote the book, and it's basically to truly release fat, to lose weight. It's not the conventional ways, the traditional ways that people use. And I keep asking people like, so you chase another diet, another program, another pill. None of this has worked, has it? So something's missing, huh? And that's what, you need to hopefully become aware of is what's that missing piece. And it's all in here, right?
Sure.
So the other part is I'll post things. You know that phrase, I wrote the book on it? Well, I did. And then I'll put the link to it. And here's what's peculiar. It got picked up by Callisti Publishing with a K, Callisti. And I became an international author because it got picked up in India. And I thought, India? And somebody said, well, the affluent part of India is pretty fat.
Oh,
The rest of them are starving. And I was like, well, that's peculiar, isn't it? So yeah, I wrote that a while ago, man. But it's a good read. It's a fun read too. There are a lot of, kind of humorous quotes in there and quotes from different celebrities and such. But Thinking Thin, the truth about weight loss. It isn't in the kitchen or the gym. It's between your ears.
right. And it's not about diets either, so we know they don't work.
No, diet. Diet is a ridiculous word. It got ruined. Your diet is whatever you consume. You're on a fast food diet. You're on a high carb diet. You're on a sugar intake diet. It's a diet isn't sacrifice and deprivation and all that silliness. Just eat healthy food. Just find a way, whether you want to be a carnivore or a vegan or a mix or a hybrid, whatever works for you, whatever your body welcomes and gets results with. But all right, I'll share something, and I do talks on this one. The number one thing you must know if you want to release weight, right? I'll help you weight loss client.
Okay.
The thought and the spoken word create physical outcomes, right?
Right.
Everything that exists physically had to have been a thought once, and once you speak it, it even becomes more powerful. So the physical body is a match for the emotional self. And when people are emotionally heavy and they say things like, that weighs on me, I've been carrying that forever, I got the whole weight of the world on my shoulders.
Yeah.
Then they get heavy. If you don't help your client release their emotional weight, their lack of confidence, their low self-esteem, their disappointments and frustrations and stresses and tensions, and then the body's not going to release the excess weight. So help your client release their emotional weight. And then also during, like a nice light theta state, a decent trance state, ask this question: what purpose does this weight serve you? You might be very surprised at some of the answers you'll get.
Okay.
Like I said, I was doing 105 of these sessions a week. I got a little bit of insight with weight loss clients.
Absolutely.
They're very complex. In the beginning, we're taught you work with stop smoking, stress relief, and weight loss. Weight loss people are complex. It's almost unfair to put a new person in that arena.
And that's it with weight loss, weight reduction, that, as you mentioned already, like the presenting issue is never, the actual problem.
What is not the issue. The what is the outcome. The why is why we do the work. Why?
Exactly.
Why are they doing that? Why aren't they doing this?
So the emotional eating and the comfort eating is really only a symptom of something else going on within them,
right?
Emotionally. And we give the environment and the platform to allow our clients to let go of that kind of toxic stuff, just kind of as like a clear out, isn't it? So that they can then move on and begin to reduce weight. And
well, there's a book out there, Trevor, called "It's Not What You're Eating, It's What's Eating You," and that's what I'm alluding to here. It's that which you're not. Well, here's the thing: no matter what the substance is, and it gets again more complex when it comes to eating. The substance that people are using in excess is just a distraction from being quiet and then thinking and feeling. So it's just a preoccupation strategy, right? People are preoccupied, but whatever's going on in here doesn't go away. That's why they just continue these habits, behaviors, these excesses. But the thing with food too is a lot of times it's a false pleasure. And I tell people this: you've said to somebody, "Oh my God, have you tried that?" And you'll even use a phrase, "It's a palatal orgasm." Now, I'm not saying you need more sex, but what I'm saying, you're getting false pleasure while killing yourself eating that shit. So you need to have more fulfillment. And then think of this: whenever you're having a good time, you don't think about eating. See, eating, the hunger for food is at the lowest part of our hungers. We have spiritual hunger, intellectual hunger, emotional hunger. So whenever you fell in love or you're really into somebody, you don't even think about eating. You could talk for 5 hours and think it was like a half hour because you're being fed emotionally, which overrides your physical hunger. So when people are using food for their pleasure, their source of pleasure because of taste, you might want to look at your life. When I certify people, I tell them, you don't have to work with issues. You don't have to get dirty and messy energetically. You can work with people who are already really, really good at something, but you help them be better. Like when I've worked with sharpshooters, people who shoot skeet or competitions, they shoot 700 in a row without missing. One more is a deal breaker, just one more.
Brilliant.
Like there's a gentleman in America, John Ware, and John mentioned me in his book, and he was like in his young 30s, and he said, dude, I'm not doing this anymore. He says, I just started working with golfers, and that's all I'm going to do. So that he made that his focus. That was his practice.
Right.
He flies around in private jets. He's on golf courses and in country clubs doing the mind work with them to not only improve their game, but maintain it. And that's another thing that hypnotists miss with their clients. Once somebody comes and they get some result, they're not done. What about maintenance? What about reinforcement? What about consistency? So like I have so many clients that it's maybe once a month, and for like a year, they're just making sure we do that once a month thing, keeps them on track. And man, there's so much hypnotists miss when it comes to how we do the work and how the business you do the work in. It's amazing. And I made all the mistakes, man. I made mistakes people won't even make because my confidence levels. I was like, well, that didn't work. But I've learned what does. And I don't work more than, oh God, I can't tell you the last time I did 21-hour sessions. And I used to have 2 offices in 2 different states for, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years now. I haven't had an office. And even when I had offices back in New England, when I was living there, I still had maybe 60% of my people online, because I've been doing sessions with people from other countries since 2003, when I started to travel and speak and all that, and it was on Skype. So this wasn't new to me at all. I just thought finally you all caught up and realized you can do this virtually.
Sure.
Some people like it in person. There's nothing lost, by the way, nothing lost when you do it on screen or in person. And there are so many benefits that the person doesn't have to travel or, deal with traffic or cost or time or whatever, But anyway, yeah.
They can do it from the comfort of their own home, so to speak.
I'll have people in their car. It's lunchtime. They're in the parking lot. They lock their doors and recline with their head, earbuds in. Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I find with that on the other side of it is that, especially when it comes to my smoking cessation clients, if, when people kind of get in their cars and say drive a long distance to see me, they've already invested energy into, the process. And as you mentioned already, the work that we do doesn't just start when they sit in, the recliner chair here in our office. It starts from the first phone call. And I like to have clients coming and making the commitment to come, say, down from Dublin to see me, or say up from Longford, or like Galway up different counties, 100+ mile away, because they've invested the time and energy to come to seek me out, to come down to see me. So they've already, in many ways, made that change even before they come into the office. And
well, that's a good point. Let me interrupt you now. I'm going to play devil's advocate, because I've had people fly from around the world. When I had an office in the Boston, Mass area, just 8 miles north of Boston, people would come as far as Dubai, the Philippines, France, Switzerland. I mean, it was insane.
Right. Wow. All over the world.
Yeah. Or people would drive 3 hours each way to do a 1-hour session. But now here's the devil's advocate side of that.
Right.
Yeah, they're committed, but they showed up stressed.
Yeah.
They showed up with, now you better make this work, what all I went through. So now there's even a little more maybe unreasonable expectation and all kinds of things that are built into this. So some people are going to want to do that. It's not a requirement. All I know is if you do a strategy call the right way, you're going to get people who are as committed as somebody who's going to drive for 6 hours just to do an hour with you.
Sure.
But you got to be able to work that out while you're doing your strategy call.
I take your point. I definitely take your point. Another thing,
but they both have valid points, right? Both sides are valid.
Yeah.
But it's not a necessity. But it does show you commitment, right?
Sure.
It's like, and I used to shake my head going, you drove 3 hours and then you're going to drive home for 3 hours to do this 1 hour with me?
It's a big commitment to make. And the other thing, I mean, look, technology is great. And, things have evolved and changed so much since I know that you started and since I started in 2010. Because when I started in 2010, it was all about the physical media. You had your leaflets and your brochures and your business cards, and you might have a website, be the height of it, and you take it from there. But now it's, with the technology, there's so much out there in terms of the platforms, your Facebook, Instagrams. We're doing this here over Zoom. And I just feel as though that, that is the way, obviously, the world is going. We know that. And at the same time, with the one-to-one sessions, you do have, if it's in your environment, obviously, you're going to have more control over the environment. If your clients are in their home, you don't know what's going on in the background. They could have kids and, dogs barking and...
All right, stop right there. What are you missing?
All the rest of it.
When I email somebody before their first session, there's a Word document attached to the email, how to prepare for a Zoom session.
Yeah, sure.
That's their responsibility. Now, there is no control. When people would come to my offices, excuse me, I didn't control if the fire alarm went off, the whole building had empty. That's happened. I didn't control that there was construction because they're repairing the road and there are, bulldozers and jackhammers outside. I didn't control the inconsiderate people who were slamming doors in offices across the hall. So you see, and this is when I first started, that I thought it had to be quiet and dim and all that, right? Real hypnotic. And, in my office was on a called Main Street, motorcycles would go by, the bus would stop and the doors open and I'd be freaking out instead of realizing you could do this in a busy cafeteria while it's loud, as long as you get this person's attention.
Good point. Good point. I had a situation there recently, actually, that I had a client in late on a Friday evening, exactly when the cleaner here comes in. Yeah. And so in the middle of the session, all I could hear was right outside my office. And it was actually like, it threw me, but didn't make a difference to the success of the session. And I asked the client when he was leaving, did you notice this? It didn't even, I kind of, I remember
exactly.
That. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Milton Erickson, he would have people sitting on a couch in his farmhouse and working with the person right here. The woman who managed this place would come in and say, there's a phone call for you. He'd go answer the phone call. People go, what are you doing? He goes, they don't care. It's not their phone call. It's my phone call. They're fine. Just leave them alone. But you leave them with a suggestion. As you continue to drift even deeper into your personal comfort and privacy, as your mind is working out the solution to what you consider to be a problem, that will continue until you hear my voice again and go answer your phone.
Great, absolutely.
When people slam the doors in the hallways and the other offices, I would always use that go. And as one door closes in life, another one opens. As the door to change is opening for you now. So and you're like, that was so good when that happened.
Yeah, you spin it to a positive rather than make it a problem. Brilliant.
I mean, come on, it's a constant thing that's going on. Influence, persuasion, the hypnotic process. And it happens even in concerts. It's happening in the mall. It's happening everywhere. It's just that some of us, and I wasn't, when I got certified, I wasn't taught this stuff. I learned it later on. So hopefully people learn a lot more before they become instructors. So they're sharing the better knowledge with their students.
Sure. And Tom, I also need to ask you, because I know we're friends on Facebook, that a couple of weeks ago you posted an amazing photo of your electric guitar collection. I was blown away by it, folks. You want to have a look and see this. I'm going to put a picture up on the screen. Hope Tom doesn't mind. I think, how many guitars are there? 19, 20?
Oh, there's more since that picture. I don't know. They're probably not that many, about 30 or so.
Obviously, that's another passion that you have in life. I know you play a bit as well, don't you?
Yeah, I started playing guitar at 10 years old. I'm 64 and I've done it all, man. I've done the album with the rock band and the tour. And I used to look like Robert Plant with red hair. Oh yeah, back then. Matter of fact, in my high school yearbook, it says, Good times, bad times, you know, I had my share, Led Zeppelin. And it said, what you're going to be? And I wrote rock star. And I bumped into somebody I graduated high school with. We did the album 1983. I graduated high school in 77. And he goes, man, we were talking about you last night playing your album. And we were like, he did what he wrote. I mean, I didn't call him a phenomenal rock star, but I mean, I did it. You know, I actually had the outcome and the experience of doing what I thought I was going to do in high school.
You walk the walk and talk the talk, the rock star lifestyle.
I mean, you gotta, if you don't walk, you talk, my God.
The sex, drugs, and rock and roll scene.
Oh, yeah, we did that.
You did that.
Yeah, we did all that.
But
anyway.
you still enjoy playing, and you play beautifully, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you. Well, I have a standing gig every Thursday night. It's been that way now for over a year. A place called Grapes in a Glass. It's a wine bar. And I'm playing Saturday night. I played last night, Saturday night and Sunday. So I'm still a working musician because I can't imagine not playing music. I mean, I've been doing it for 54 years.
Wow.
Almost every day, you know.
What kind of music do you dig and do you play in the band?
Oh, man. I play everything from the old 1920s and 30s music. So it goes all the way from like Bill Bailey and Please Don't Talk About Me, all this old time stuff that I learned from these old guys when I was 12, all the way to George Benson or Zeppelin or, you know, everything except ethnic music. I don't like polkas and tarantellas and any real ethnic music. But other than that, and no death metal and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I play a big wide range. Like in my solo acoustics gig, I've got 381 songs on my tablet.
Wow.
And it ranges. You think there's a schizophrenic in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's one of the things I just love to do.
I picked up an acoustic guitar about 10 years ago. I'm a huge music fan. I'm big into the Beatles. As a lot of people, my friends, family that know me are already aware of. And picked up an acoustic guitar, and I'm still kind of learning it. It's something that I pick it up every couple of weeks. But over time, you know, you kind of improve and the muscle memory kicks in and so on. But it's a great way of de-stressing.
Well, it's being in the moment. I mean, you can't be playing music if you're not in the moment. You know, it's a wonderful thing. I just close my eyes and lean back and play, man.
It's great for the soul and the spirit.
Well, we're being creative. We're from the source of creation. So everyone should have some form of creativity in their life, whether it's scrapbooking or drawing or coloring or whatever. I mean, something that's creative. Then I believe you're honoring what, you know, you really are, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tom, it's been fascinating listening to you here today. And I'm so glad that you came on the show, and thanks for taking the time out to share your knowledge and your awareness and yourself with our listeners. But before you go, is there any parting words of wisdom you would like to share with us here today?
That's like, you know,
putting you on the spot.
I mean, the first thing that just popped into my head was everyone is always looking for, you know, heightened confidence. I believe in life, you should have a mountain of confidence, but an equal amount of humility. I learned, like, I just got off the road touring with a band, right? And I started giving guitar lessons. And there was a kid playing for 3 months. 3 months. And he played something, and I went, play that again. I go, where'd you come up with that one? Oh, it's just my room playing. I go, I'm going to use that. He went, really? I go, yeah. So I copped a lick from a kid playing for 3 months, and I had already been playing for 24 years. Or no, 20 years at that time or something. So if you're not humble, you'll never be open-minded and listen. And when you hear stuff, you'll go, oh, I know that. And you just stop learning. So be confident. And if you're not confident enough, then you can't be humble. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you're too insecure and defensive. So a mountain of humility with a mountain of confidence, and you might do all right. But there's so much I could add to that question. My God, be kind, work on yourself. You do you and I'll do me. Stop butting in people's lives. And there's so much that we could leave people with. Yeah. Be authentic. Be who you are. Find out who you are. Stop being what people tell you you're supposed to be. Yeah. Be real. That's what it's about. Be authentic. This is how all marketing goes now. People want to work with who they really attract to. And if you don't show them who you are, then they can't do that.
Yeah.
But this is everything in life, man. When people say, well, I don't want to fail. If you're doing nothing, you're fucking failing, you dumbass. That's failing, doing nothing. But if you're doing something, you're learning, you're developing. That's how you did everything since you were born. So it's such a silly issue or label or perception people have about fear of failure or fear of success. It's the same shit. It's you doing nothing for some other issues that has nothing to do with failure or success.
Sure.
Anyway, so it's good. Just keep doing it. That's all there is to it. You just keep doing it. I said this last night to this woman who was singing. I said, Janine, it's good to see you out here. Keep doing it, because the more you keep doing it, before you know it, you're going to go, wow. Like Ed Sheeran says, he goes, people say you can't learn to do what I do. Oh, you're a natural. He goes, listen to this. And he carries this with him all the time. A little pocket recorder, and he plays it, and it is shit. And it's him. He goes, I wasn't always what I am now. He goes, I just kept practicing. Learn how to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Learn how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Do shit that's uncomfortable. Then everything changes. If you keep doing what's comfortable, you're just doing the same shit, getting the same results. Yeah. So put yourself out. And you never know what you're capable of unless you test it. And when you do what you're capable of, you'll astound yourself. Anyway, but thank you for the time, man. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. And genuinely, once more, I've really enjoyed this discussion and the chat we've had here on the podcast here today. And you're definitely more than welcome to come on at some stage in the future for part 2. Who knows?
Sure.
To be continued.
Yep, that's okay with me.
Tom, for now, we let you go. So have a great day, great week, great year.
Thank you.
And keep up the great work that you're doing.
You too, Trevor.
And I know that I'll be learning off Tom. I've learned off you today in the time we've had together. And I hope you guys, our listeners out there, have as well. So Tom, we leave you go. And until next time, look after yourself, my friend.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, everyone, it's that time again to say goodbye. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Until next time, take care, and we see you on the next podcast. Take care, folks.